Hello, YouTubers, and welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. This is the final episode this morning. I have 6 articles in this episode for you, and the URLs are in the description of the video for your convenience. The first one I have here is off of All News Pipeline. It says, "You have no right to speak. Warriors are at it again. Communism taught in U.S. colleges." These colleges and universities are now daycare centers for activists and snowflakes. Snowflakes demanding heads roll when a university president refuses to support safe spaces, while hate spaces are being created by demands from the LGBT and people of color, and college children throwing temper tantrums and threatening to shut down an event because they do not like the speaker are just a few recent examples of the ongoing out-of-control actions campuses across America today. We'll start with the Northern Arizona University, where snowflake students are demanding President Rita Cheng's during a forum event on March the 31st of 2017. She was asked how she could support safe spaces, reply in a manner that was expected. The question was asked of her because students were offended by a preacher's visit the previous week, which they claimed he was promoting hate speech against marginalized students. Then again, documented extensively here at ANP, anything uncomfortable or to which does not match their ideology is often labeled hate speech, a microaggression, or offensive. So-called social justice warriors demanding safe spaces to hide from the real word, I think that should be world, and anything they do not agree with. Cheng's response, which I should add, she did not offer a trigger warning before she answered, was, "As a university professor, I'm not sure I have any support space. I think that you as a student have to develop skills and be successful in this world, and that we need to provide you with the opportunity for discourse and debate and dialogue. And I'm not sure that is correlated with the notion of safe spaces." That. Well, that did it. Action Coalition members up and walked out of the forum was still in the process. By April the 3rd, 2017, the NAU SAC took to their Facebook page to call for yet another protest. Protest against NAU administration and President Cheng. There have been too many microaggressions and bigoted actions that have taken place on campus and on social media that had threatened the safety and livelihood of our current student population, and administration has done nothing about it. Today at 11:15 a.m., starting at the statue on the right side of Dub, opposite the opposite the McConnell side, in front of the nursing building, to demand that administration sets in place a clear, concise set of consequences for when these things happen. The process will be a silent walk through campus with protesters posters of pictures of unacceptable incidents at NAU has let slip by. Posters will be provided. Solidarity by showing up wearing all black, no club affiliated gear. This is a student issue and we'd appreciate the support. Before going into the subsequent demand for her resignation, if them safe spaces, it is noteworthy that FB, which would be Facebook, post specifies microaggressions, as recent Professor Scott Lidenfield of Emory University has called for the abandonment of the term microaggression, as well as a moratorium on microaggression training programs and publicity distributed microaggression list pending research. In a research paper from January of 2017 called "Microaggression Strong Claims, Inadequate Evidence," Lidenfeld asserts that the 5 core premises of microaggression have no basis in fact. The professor was interviewed by telephone by a fundamental flaw with the term, which he also says should be eliminated completely by stating the following. They are totally in the eye of the beholder. Anything you say could be labeled as a microaggression. In the current literature, if someone is offended by something, it is a microaggression. You simply cannot, you simply cannot progress scientifically in this way or expect to resolve radical tensions on a college campus. That is what is being seen all across campuses and being legitimized by school administration officials and college professors by offering courses which has no basis in psychological science, including metrics, social cognition, cognitive behavioral therapy, behavioral genetics, and personality, health, and industrial organizational psychology, according to Linenfeld. The NAUSAC is demanding Cheng give them safe spaces, or resign. Questions posed to her administration by News 12, we see that she stands behind her resistance to safe spaces. Question: what does President Cheng think about the NAUSAC asking for her resignation if she doesn't provide a safe space for all students? Answer: NAU is safe. Spaces for different groups on our campus only leads to misunderstanding, distrust, and reduces the opportunity for discussion and engagement and education around diversity. Our classrooms and our campuses safe place for engagement and respect, a place to learn from each other, to an atmosphere that is conducive to teaching and learning. Contrast: Cheng's stance. Believing in a college is a place to teach students how to navigate the real world by refusing to allow them to hide in safe spaces in order to avoid the fact that there is diversity of opinions around outside the campus. To that of school officials at Columbia University that are now allowing students to self-segregate by making newly vacated rooms in Student Center to become de facto safe spaces by making them exclusively reversible by identity-based groups that cater to LGBTQ students and students of color. University of California, UCLA, we see that free speech and open exchange of ideas and debates is long gone already, as Black Lives Matter students once again stormed the stage with their childish chanting to disrupt a speech by Heather McDonald, a Manhattan Institute scholar who was invited to speak at the Republicans to give a Blue Lives Matter talk about the 2016 book. One of the protesters was quoted as stating, "You have no right to speak." McDonald is also slated to speak at Claremont McKenna College tonight, where she will explore the data on policing crime and race and argue that policing today is driven by crime, not race, according to the description. And of course, Snowflake students that do not want her to be allowed to provide actual document are planning. The Claremont Independent says a Facebook event titled Shut Down Anti-Black Fascist Heather McDonald and hosted by Shut Down Anti-Black Fascist encourages students to protest the event because McDonald Black Lives Matter movement supports racist police officers and supports increasing fascist law and order. Heather McDonald has been vocally against Black Lives Matter movement and pro-police. Her fascist ideologies and blatant anti-blackness and white supremacy. Ads. Let's show CMC that is an attack on marginalized communities, both on campus and off. Together, we can hold CMC accountable and prevent McDonald from spewing her racist, anti-black, capitalist, imperialist, fascist agenda. Organizers do not state specifically how they plan to shut down McDonald's lecture. Students who attend to carry posters, wear black, and bring your comrades because we're shutting this down. They even provide a handy graphic to go along with their attempt to stifle any speech that doesn't fit with their ideology. Got a poster of McDonald. They put red horns on her. down anti-black fascist Heather McDonald. Um, says condemns Black Lives Matter movement, supports racist police officers, supports increasing just law and order. Anti-black scholar Heather McDonald has been invited to speak at Claremont McKenna College on Thursday, April the 6th at 5:30 p.m. at the NEM. Join the action with students of color at the Claremont College to shut her down. Other nonsense being seen on college campuses across the nation, which shows that they are no longer educational institutes, includes a civility flag at Arcadia University, which is lowered for a week at a time. An incident of bias or hate is reported. Considering the type of absurd issues that are consistently reported with the claim of bias at Variety College, as we have detailed in previous reports, it would be surprising flag ever gets flown again. A professor is actually teaching an anti-Trump course at the University of California, Santa Cruz, which will include teaching students about oppositional liberation movements. George Mason University feminists held a make your own damn sandwich event to help them recognize everyday sexism. State University San Marcos has officially set up a campus-wide celebration of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, and out, which they are calling Gapril, where they will be exploring animal-based sex fetishes. New happening at universities across America and campus reform at College Fix. These colleges and universities are daycare centers for activists and snowflakes that can't handle the reality of life outside their safe spaces, rather than educational institutes, and donors should refuse to provide funds until these colleges get back to actually teaching students victimhood mentality and stop indoctrinating our nation's college-age students into communism. College vein, the next article I have here is off of libertyheadlines.com, and it says North Carolina Com College students, man in woman's restroom, a crime. Central Piedmont College Community College student was shocked to find a man in the woman's bathroom, allegedly trying to take her picture under a stall door. Shocked, she said, when she reported the incident to police, and they told her what happened was not a crime. Her said she was in a stall for women's bathroom in Belk building on CPCC's central campus when she suddenly noticed something that didn't feel right. I noticed a person come through the vertical crack and then bend down, so I jumped up and went out the door, and they were headed out the bathroom, and I said, for somebody? And the guy started fumbling and mumbling with his phone and trying to get his phone away, so I blocked him from the door so he wouldn't get out. Called days later in the interview by, or let's see, days later in an interview with WBTV, Barker said she grabbed the man's phone and eventually led him to a campus security officer to report the incident, but campus security officers told her there was nothing they could do. They said that there's no proof that he has any pictures, so they can't do anything to him. She said she was told by campus security officers. In the law, it's a criminal trespassing for a man to be in the women's bathroom, highlighted last week by Republican lawmakers in the debate over whether to repeal House Bill 2. During that debate, lawmakers pointed laws that sought to protect women from encountering men in multiple occupancy bathrooms. But an incident report provided by CPCC Security shows the incident was classified as code of conduct violation, not a violation of any law. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm alone in this. I imagine that many of the women that I know feel the same way. If I am in a restroom, some dude comes in there thinking that he's going to take pictures under the stall wall or door or whatever, he's going to get a beat down laid on him. Forget. Just take it as fair warning. I mean, not every lady might be as nice as to drag you out to a official or security guard or whatever. There's some of us that will lay a beat down on you. Whooping that your mama should have given you. Oh, mercy. The next one is up of Liberty Headlines, and it says, boycott costs more than anyone expected. CEO was blindsided. Target triggered a nationwide boycott last year with a single blog post, and it turns out the message was big shock CEO as it was to some shoppers. The blog post, published in April of 2016, publicized policy that said transgender customers were welcome to use the bathroom or fitting room that matched their gender identity. Everyone deserves to feel like they belong, the post said, and you'll always be accepted, respected, and welcomed at Target. The Target CEO, Brian Cornell, approved the post and found out about it only after it was published, according to the Wall Street Journal. He later told colleagues that he wouldn't have approved the decision to flaunt the policy, and that clash was self-inflicted, the Journal reported. The boycott cost the company millions in lost sales and added expenses. Shopper traffic and same-store sales started sliding for the first time in years after the blog post, and the company was forced to spend $20 million installing single-occupancy bathrooms in all its stores to give critics of the policy more privacy. Critics of the policy said it opened the door for sexual predators to victimize women and children inside the retailer's bathrooms, and 4 million people signed a pledge to stop shopping at Target unless it reversed the policy. Happens when people stand together to get something done. I have is often natural news, and it says 100 shocking studies prove cannabis can help. It's not a secret that cannabis prohibition in the United States is highly contested. Its myriad of uses in the treatment of a variety of diseases and conditions. Even the National Cancer Institute states that lab-created cannabinoid drugs modeled after the real cure, the cannabis plant, have been approved for the treatment of cancer-related side effects in the U.S. Apparently, only lab-made products can hold medicinal value. This only underlies the obvious intention behind Big Pharma's lobbying against cannabis legislation. Keeping cannabis illegal allows them to create pharmaceuticals derived from the healing plant. The cannabis plant contains many unique compounds, and clinical data shows that the synergy that occurs between this array of compounds makes the marijuana plant far more efficacious than any attempted replicas Big Pharma can dump in a lab, such as synthetic THC. THC is one of the most recognizable marijuana compounds and is often described as what gives the plant its psychoactive effects. But THC also provides therapeutic benefits. The cannabis plant also contains a variety of other cannabinoids that can offer health benefits, such as cannabinoid or CBD, cannabinol, which is CBN, cannabichromene, which is CBC, cannabigerol, which is CBD, and one that I can't even pronounce, tetrahydrocannabinol or something. It's THCV. Like THC, these compounds do not provide psychoactive, do have medicinal value. These compounds work together to create an even stronger therapeutic response than they can provide independently. Natural Blaze recently reported on that showed cannabis can cure a variety of different cancers. Some of the cancers that cannabis has been shown to treat include cancers of the brain, breast, uterus, prostate, pancreas, lung, liver, mouth, throat. Cannabis was also shown to treat skin cancer and leukemia. This, of course, is just the tip of the iceberg. Studies out there on cannabis plant and its healing compounds. For example, there are over 1,000 published studies on CBD compound alone. CBD oil and CBD-rich marijuana strains have been used medicinally for a number of different conditions, including cancer, childhood seizure disorders, and more. It has been shown to help delay the progression of symptoms of ALS, known as Lou Gehrig's disease, reduce pain, and promote sleep. While CBC has not been the subject of much research, preliminary findings suggest that it has significant pain relieving and anti-inflammatory properties. CBG also has not been studied very much, but initial findings have indicated that it, along with other cannabis compounds, could be pertinent in a number of uses, including central nervous system disorders like epilepsy. There is limited data on THCV as well, but studies have found that it too has anti-convulsant and anti-epileptic properties, as well as capacity to reduce pain and inflammation. Say isolating marijuana's compounds is akin to not seeing the forest for the trees, and that it is a failure to recognize that the whole plant is beneficial and not just parts of it. You would not say that only lycopene is good for you and the rest of the tomato should not be consumed, now would you? That the compounds of cannabis are just, or try this, the compounds of cannabis are each capable on their own independent health benefits. Evidence indicates that these compounds tend to work better together than apart. The whole plant extract exhibited a dose-dependent response, meaning that pain relief continued to escalate along with dosage. The researchers stated that the plant extract was ideal for clinical use, continued efficiency with higher doses. The researchers also stated the therapeutic synergy observed with plant extracts resulted in the requirement amount of active components with consequent reduced adverse effects. The cannabis plant was also found to be more effective at pain relief than aspirin. So not only does research continue to demonstrate that cannabis and its compounds can cure cancer and treat other diseases, research also shows that the real cannabis plant is more effective than lab-created synthetic pharmaceutical versions. The article I have is off of Natural News, and it says, this court just ruled Coca-Cola products are poison. You've seen some videos circulating the web showing Coke's ability to take rust and paint off metal objects or clean toilet bowls. We all know that sodas aren't healthy, as many of us still drink liters of the sugary stuff on a daily basis. No matter where you are, Coca-Cola is one of the most recognized drinks in the whole world. In countries, Coca-Cola products such as Coke, Fanta, Sprite are even more accessible than clean water. Soft drinks, however, have more to worry about than just its high sugar content. High Court judge has ruled that some of the soft drinks sold under Coca-Cola brand could be poisonous when consumed alongside vitamin C rich foods, drinks, and supplements. After businessman Dr. Emmanuel Fajabi Adibo filed a lawsuit against the Regulatory National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, called the NAFDAC, and the Nigerian bottling company NBC, Judge Alido Oyebanji ruled that the high levels of benzoic acid, as well as additives in Fanta and Sprite, could pose a health risk to consumers when mixed sorbic acid or vitamin C. In 2007, Emmanuel Fajibi Adibo's company, Fajibi Adibo Holding Limited, purchased Nigerian Sprite and Fanta to the United Kingdom for retail. When the products arrived in the UK, health authorities ran tests and concluded that they were not fit for human consumption, CNN reported. Seized and destroyed because the products contained excessive levels of benzoic acid, coloring sunset yellow, both of which pose a serious health risk. In their defense, Coca-Cola Company said the claims are inaccurate and unsupported by science. Lawyers for the Nigerian bottling company added that the products for export to other countries safe and strictly adhere to regulations in the countries where they are sold while complying with our company's strictest global safety and quality standards, a spokesperson for Coca-Cola tenant. Judge Adeo Ojebanji rejected their defense, stating that any manufactured soft drink ought to be fit for human consumption irrespective of its color or creed. The Lagos High Court ordered NBC to place labels on Fanta and Sprite bottles to inform consumers about the possible health risk. Furthermore, the NAFDAC received a fine of $6,350 for failing standards. Both companies argue that Coke's products don't exceed benzoic acid limits in Nigeria. They cited limits set by the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, which may vary by country depending on several factors such as climate and country regulations. According to them, higher temperatures require higher levels of preservatives. As stated by Sadie Morgan, Affairs and Communications Director of NBC, the standard limits of benzoic acid in soft drinks in the UK is set to a maximum of 150 milligrams. Fanta and Sprite products coming from Nigeria, however, have a recorded level of 200 milligram, which is lower than the Nigerian regulatory limit of 250 milligram. While authorities and FAO claim that the products are safe, Adewale insisted on opening an investigation into the safety of Coca-Cola products produced in Nigeria. The news has spread like wildfire through Nigeria, resulting in fear among the public. Many Nigerians aren't too sure anymore whether they still want to drink soda that's considered poisonous for humans in some parts of the world. Coca-Cola and NBC are try this again. While Coca-Cola and the NBC hope for a successful appeal, their reputation and restore trust, consumer groups are calling for immediate boycotts. Article, this is your laugh. You know, I love to try to end with something funny. And Lord have mercy, I cannot make this stuff up. There's two in this article. This is off of the Burning Platform. The thing's called a Friday Fail. It says, now this is the guy's name. I can't make this up. Jack Me Off Mud, Fort Lauderdale. A South Florida man with an unfortunate name or strong commitment to pranking police was arrested last Friday on litany of charges in Fort Lauderdale. Mudd, age 54, was arrested on charges of assault, disorderly conduct, resisting an officer, possession of alcohol in an open container, and violation of probation. He is being held at the Broward County Jail on $300 bond, which means that in the last few days, a Somber County judge allowed in court. Here's hoping it was Judge John Hurley, just to bring his circle. And there, if you pull this up, there is a whole lot of epic fails in this that you would just love. And there is one more article down here. I'm trying to scroll down here and find it to read it to you. Here we go. McGruff the crime dog sentenced to 16 years for committing crimes. Hypocrisy reached cartoonish levels this week when the actor who played McGruff received a sentence. CBS Houston reports that John R. Morales was sentenced to 16 years behind bars after he finally accepted a plea deal relating to his 2011 arrest in Galveston, Texas, during which cops found 1,000 marijuana plants, including a grenade launcher, and 9,000 rounds of ammunition. Much more pictures of some things that are just too bizarre. to describe. You'll have to look at them for yourself to get your. So that's all I have for you this morning. I hope you have a wonderful day. Be sure and share this around on social media. Thumbs up if you like what I'm doing. Don't be afraid to let me know about it. And be sure and subscribe if you haven't done that. And that way you'll stay informed. Have a great day and a wonderful weekend.